yeah, looks nice too.
Okay.
All right.
So guys, there we go. It is 1 minute late. We got started. We are at the very, very top of the Hyatt Regency in Orlando. And Ken and Lee were kind enough to invite the Acura folks up for a visit. And they're, this is the presidential suite, right?
Presidential suite. Yeah.
Presidential suite. And Ken, head of sales and marketing for Acura. Lee, as you've seen in the Jim and Lee show, he is basically UK distributorship. And this is, what did we see? Now, to first get started is, if you guys have looked back, we've had a few questions on what's coming up from Acura, because we did the Dakar demo day. So Peterson asked, what's replacing the Tour Z? And he has the answer.
I do have the answer.
So this is Ken Thompson.
Hello, everybody. So thanks for coming up, Jim. That question there is a pretty simple one to answer. We have two new Tour Z products. We're calling them the TZ5 and the TZ6. So they're basically two different profile shafts that are quite radically different in what they do for people. TZ5 in a nutshell is a low launch, low spin type profile shaft. The TZ6, the way it's built, is going to have a higher initial launch, but it's got a really low torque tip section, so it really helps reduce the spin. Okay, so the higher initial launch, getting to apex really kind of flattens out with the low spin, for another different profile kind of thing. So those are the two different shafts. There is quite a big difference in the way they're put together, but those are the two new Tour Z products from us coming out this year.
So we talk. Can we tell who's actually playing them? Can we say that? Or
well, I'm not allowed to really talk players myself, especially.
But I can.
But you can.
I can later. I will tell you guys later. There was a whole bunch of names thrown around and some well-known names, and the list is so long. But I want to make sure that we have the right shafts to the right player. So if you guys are seeing this, will this be the label going forward?
Yes, that is the
So you have an iridescent label type thing, and so it's kind of a bejeweled kind of thing when it gets into the sun. All right, and then the Acura Tour Z or the Z, and then if it'll tell you, there it goes, whether it's a 5 or whether it's a 6. This thing has got some weight. Is this your shaft?
Yeah, no, it's not mine. That's going to be the 85 gram version. That's a little bit of a strong one for me. I'm more of a 65 gram guy, to be fair.
So which one are you playing?
I've got a TZ6, 65 gram M5 I'm using. So the TZ6.
He's a player.
No, I'm not. No.
Yeah.
I think the TZ6 is an interesting one. I think from the point of view of having the slightly softer tip section, a little stiffer in the butt, to help guys launch the golf ball. And I think traditionally people with higher club head speeds have always worried a little bit about slightly softer tip sections. But where the shaft comes into its own and where it's different is the amount of torque that's in it. So it's the torque of the shaft that actually keeps it so we can keep dispersion down. And that's always been a problem for guys with softer tip shafts with high swing speeds. And when I say it's soft, it's not crazy soft. Don't think it's crazy soft. There's a couple of little things happen with it. The butt got a little bit stiffer, and also the materials we use, which I can't go into because that's the secret of it. Those materials have helped us to develop a shaft that we can get the best of both worlds. So a little bit more feel, with also keeping a tight dispersion.
I like that.
Matt says, hello, gents, and I love my family of Acura shafts.
Fantastic.
Now you got Matt in his own right.
Yeah.
Matt goes low. Don't let him kid you.
Right.
So he's about this 6'5" guy, and he's a teacher, and he's got this abbreviated backswing, and just tears through it and finishes up, right?
Okay.
And
sounds like someone I know.
Yep. And so he gets and he doesn't hit any. He didn't hit anything above an 8 iron. It was all hybridy type stuff. and it took a little prodding and a little coaching and everything, and I got him into I got him past the 7,
Yeah.
and we got him into some hybrids and stuff like that, and got the sets matched up
He
to him.
says, I love my hybrids.
Yep, and he calls back and he's shooting 72,
Yeah.
74, 72. He's a low 70s player when he plays
great.
like
Way
that.
to go, man.
So he's taking a lot of money, and that's
Yeah.
awesome, right? And he's just a good guy. He just loves the golf stuff, loves the club making, and
Well, we're glad he's in Accra.
Yeah, so he's a good guy. He really is a good guy. And so we had the Accra demo day. I didn't get to tell you guys, but we had the Accra demo day, and I was using the new Epic Flash, and I used the older Tour Z that had the stars and stripes on it.
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
so it's a custom colour, yeah?
Yep. And remember, it was a limited run of the
Yes.
100.
Yeah.
I had number 4.
Oh.
And I almost didn't want to use it because of what it was.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Gah!" And you know what? I couldn't get away from not using it. So it's put in there. I'm thinking we're gonna have to do I want to do the FX red, but I'm gonna have to get it painted green to go with the Epic Flash.
Okay.
and so because that red and the green, that's just not happening, man.
Yeah.
And but the thing is that I put that in there. I tested it, and I was hitting pretty good. But my swing speed dropped because we went 3 months without swinging. I just went out there cold.
Sure.
Lost about 5 miles an hour, and I was still hitting at the same distance. Yeah, and I went from, I've traditionally had the Tour Z in mind,
Yeah.
and I had the Even Flow last year. It's not to say bad or good, but I had the Even Flow, and I struggled.
What did you have, blue or black? Even flow.
I had the blue.
The blue.
And so I went back to this, and all of a sudden it just went. It started bulleting on me, right?
Okay.
And when it started bulleting, I was like, again, I'm working through the swing because this is like the first round of forever.
Yeah.
And about hole 12, it woke up, right? All of a sudden, I started finishing and pulling it up, and I was like, aha. And so of course, it only took 14 holes, right, to get up there to where I was catching up with all the guys that were the big hitters. And I was like, that was my one good thing for the day, and other than Dennis's hole in one. It is hole in one, so that was really good.
That's great.
So it did good. So
If I'm not mistaken, you're left-handed.
I am.
Is that right?
I am.
So did you get the left-handed shafts that we do?
Well, you know what? I had to check. I had to check. So, I came up here thinking that very well that these guys would have had a chance to, you were directly across the street from the PGA show. Here are these guys that have a shot at going out there, and the room has been so busy that they really haven't had a shot. So you guys are going to get a shot on Friday when it's
Friday.
dead?
Well, we have a lot to do still. In the morning tomorrow, we got a couple more meetings to do, and then it's cleanup. But we'll hit the show floor probably in the early afternoon. As it's wrapping up kind of over there, but we'll still get to see a good portion of the show for sure.
The one thing I wanted to bring to you guys that we really didn't talk about, and Ken is real big in this, and the really cool part is we have both sides of the pond to be able to talk about is, this year, 2 things that we've found in the last 2 days, the 2 hot topics really of things that have really, for me, has been putter shafts, right? Putter shafts and making your golf club personal. Right?
Yep.
And making the golf, whether it be a driver, a putter, or whatever, and making it personal.
Yeah.
And the reason why I do this is because Ken is king of getting things personalized, right? But I wanted to get from the UK whether or not was that a big item for them?
Yeah,
for guys
it is.
from
I mean,
UK?
custom year on year, custom graphics, custom colours grow. And I think we're getting to a stage where people want to have something that's unique to themselves. And, the golf industry, let's face it, there's a lot of guys that turn up on a Saturday morning and they've all got the same clubs and nothing looks different and they're playing the same stuff. Whereas, obviously if you've had it fitted, that's made for you. And it's nice to be able to have something that distinguishes that club from the other guys. And that's really where customs come into it. So, Ken I call him the king of custom. He's the guy that can make things happen with regards to how they look. And we get more and more and more guys every month that, you know, they'll order the shaft, but they want it in this colour. We've had guys that want it the same colour as their favourite wine. Yeah, we've had guys that want it the same colour as, you know, a car that they've got, or they like the finish on their new car. Can their golf shaft match it? And it's just so varied. Their child's favourite colour. But at the end of the day, it's a cool process that happens. Every single shaft is made for that individual. Yeah, that's the big thing. So, you know, they can have their name on it. We can etch stuff on the tip.
Yep.
A lot of people like to personalise it from that point of view. So yeah, it's just a growing thing, and Ken's the guy that will tell you the ins and outs of how it all goes on.
Yeah, our custom program has exploded. Really over the last 3 to 4 years, it just keeps on growing and growing and growing. As Leah alluded to, we can virtually do any color under the sun when it comes to certain models within our line. So you can, this is our stock graphic here, but you can have a different color shaft color, like you can make this green. You can have a different logo and graphic color kind of thing. We'll be able to change this middle section as well to a different color. And we actually have been developing a custom web application where people can go on. So guys like yourself, when you're working with your customer, you can now, once you get them fitted to the proper shaft, because that really is the most important thing. But now after that, you can go personalize that even further now and take them to our custom web application and get whatever color they want.
So what? Now, as a kind of a description of what he's saying is, they had a shaft out there that was about every 4 to 6 inch section had a different color on it, and it looked like a roll of Lifesavers. And when they got there, because they were all different colors of that variety, that shape and variety. So again, I talked to you guys about Acra, families of shafts, irons, hybrids, fairway woods, drivers, and basically these guys are the only ones doing it, and that's the reason why we have it. Tolerances are tighter, second to none, and that's the reason why I like it, right? And so when I make a better golf club, you play better golf. That's what it's all about.
For sure.
All right, so we went through that. What did we do at the end of the day, right? So I got a request to go to Herzl's Gloves, and unfortunately it was disappointing to be said, because I saw them when they first started, and it's into a smaller booth. They've got 3 different kinds of gloves for different kinds of tractions on the hands. Is okay, right? Is it an over the moon kind of thing? No. Is it a good glove? Yeah. So if you guys are looking for it, I would go to their website and order it. We certainly will not be carrying it, but it's Herzl's, Hirzl, right? And good glove, just not carrying it. Okay. Got requested. There was another one, the Putt Out. I was so impressed with the Putt Out, I actually bought one. And if you guys have ever seen it, it's a little the guy's from the UK, and he's got this long list of things that have come out with it. And the Putt Out basically it looks like a plexiglass banana. It's got a hole, and it's got a curve up, and it's got another micro hole, and it's about training you to get speed and direction on, and it's really a neat concept. It really is, and I think it'll be really good for people that come into the shop for a putter fitting, so they can see what's going on, because it's instantaneous feedback on how it rolls if you miss or if you don't miss.
Can you use it on carpet, he wants to know?
Yes, and that's the reason why I got it, because the thing has got these cleats on the bottom, and it's specifically made to go on carpet. And this Putt Out is just one of the many tools that goes with it. It's got now a actual carpet itself with a piece of plexiglass that it goes underneath, and it sits on, and it gives you a stimp of 10. All right, and it's got all these training aids and lines and stuff that you can use along with it. It's not required that you get it, but you can get this. And then they now have a mirrored area where it's stainless steel, or not steel, but it's a metal underneath, and then an acrylic, a shiny acrylic, and then they have these gates that are magnets, and they have lines on it so you can make sure you can be equidistant from the center, and get that stroke going through, right? And we've seen plenty of those training aids, and then you can look down and see, you know, if your eyes are centered or just to the inside, and use that in conjunction with the putt out. And they also have, and when you get that, they have these gates, and the gates have these weighted bases, and it's a very tight tolerance to get through it.
Sure.
So if somebody's truly serious about, you know, really perfecting the putting, right? And you can use the acrylic, you can use the gate, you can use the putt out, you can use it, and you can keep adding it on as much as you possibly want. But we're starting with the first fold out piece. I'm going to work with it a little bit, and we're going to see how that works out. Now, which takes me to the reason why, other than you guys asking me, is that I was at a putter grip. One of the guys, well, I can say it because they don't have to. The guy was an old Pure Grip guy, and a good friend, and they found another fella, and they come with this. It's a grip that it's curved on the bottom, and it comes up to a point on the top.
Okay.
All right, and so you set your thumbs off to the side, and when you do that, it forces your elbows in.
Yeah.
Right, and Lee's a PGA guy, right? So when I say this, you see his head bouncing, right? So you want it in here like this, and it gets you into a position in order to make a better stroke. Well, he's got not only that one, but one that looks like an upside down trapezoid.
Yeah.
Right, and I was using one of those on a putter with that stability shaft.
Yeah.
3 shots, and I made it into the putt out in that little micro hinge. I was
And
like,
it was right-handed.
it was right-handed with my backpack on, and I keep telling him my backpack started at 20 pounds, and now it's 100. So yeah, but the grips, you know, they put you into a good position. So I conned them into giving me one to review, and we're gonna put it on a putter, and I'll make sure that it works. Cool. So we you know, there's a lot of that going on out there, right? There's a lot of the push into the putter, because everybody's making drivers that goes longer. Everybody's got the new hottest blah 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 with the iron. You know, it's all that in the bag of chips. But now everybody's pushing into the putter. You know, and I did talk with Sean Toulon with the Stroke Lab and the things and the processes that they had, and you know, when we talk improvements in the golf industry, if you see 2, 3, 4%, man, you're talking that's almost logarithmic, right?
Yeah.
Well, they're talking like improvements of 18 to 20%.
Wow.
And if that truly does happen, look out, world, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if it truly does happen, look out, world. And it's because of the balances, and I think the story behind it's really good. And I got with Sean today. It was really good. Got to talk to Mr. Cleveland today too.
Okay, that's cool.
And the PM grind.
Yeah.
So the PM grind, it was always too heavy, and he put in the 115 shaft, lightened it up, and the way that they cut the grooves on the MD4, where they're leaving positives instead of negatives.
Yeah.
All right, so they're doing that same grooving process on this, except this is a club that's made to be opened, right? And when you open it, the face turns a bit. And so he's milled these grooves at 20 degrees so that when it's flopped open, it is actually pointing at the target.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so, and it's made to go, and he goes from 64 to 54 in lofts, and of course increments. And so that's what we've got with that.
Cool.
So we saw some of that. We went touring around the Finn Motorsports with the Sun Mountain. Yeah, it looks like the Batmobile, the Bat Cycle.
Yeah, we saw that demo day. And they
was that cool or what?
I gotta give me one of those.
They tell you, the thing's fast. It's quick. I got to talk to them. They're only going to release it to courses. Yeah. And when people find out what the deal is, I don't understand why they're not going to be packed with them. Yeah. But it was really, really cool, and I got to see a prototype of a new battery-powered RC walk-behind cart. Yes. They were really big with those. It was just straightforward. You got your pace on, and you went. Well, now this one's going to be drivable, and it's in still. I got to see the prototype. Yeah. It had a wheelie bar.
Okay.
Really? Yeah, it had a wheelie bar. So I was like, yeah. So that was really cool. So we walked around, met a lot of people, talked to the golf mechanics, saw a new gripping station. You've seen that. So you hold the club, and it's got this laser that runs the length. That's nothing new, right? But when you get it all done, it's got this really narrow tank of solvent. And you grab the thing and it goes, and then you slide the grip. And you slide the grip on. We called it the dip and grip system. and the
Okay.
pip and grip system. So Mondaire is always thinking ahead. He's always doing stuff like
Yeah.
that. So
That's good.
That's funny.
we walked around, we found it, and the guys found my shirt, my jacket. Life's good,
Yeah.
and so we hope
Yeah.
we're
We're
gonna
like
do.
you had your name tag on it still.
No
so-
doubt, they had my name tag on it, right? And so, in reality, there was a lot seen. We talked to New Level Golf. Eric's having a really good year. He got nominated to the golf
Mhm.
top. He got the hot list.
Okay.
He got put on the hot list, and there's only two companies in the whole history of it so far that got it on their first year.
Okay.
PXG and him.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, right. And he's got some good models coming up, and he's got a lot of success happening his way. I hope he does really, really good.
Fantastic.
Yep. Anybody got any questions?
Nope, just great content as always.
Oh, great content. Well,
Very
it's
good.
because I got these guys now.
Exactly.
Right, we got the Jim Lee and Ken show. We got to keep it easy, 3-letter words, right?
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for coming in. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the show notes below. We got just a really quick drive-by before we do the go see the kids and go to Disney, and that'll be the end of our thing. It'll be me.
I'm going to.
It'll be me. Robin wants to go tonight.
Thanks,
So,
everybody.
guys, thanks a lot. Let's see your scores. Go low.
Bye bye.